Welcome into our Big Ten Network studios in Chicago. I'm Lentz. The Internet Wrestling Rankings came out this week, and top-ranked Penn State recorded their first dual conference shutout with a 43-0 stomping over Wisconsin on Sunday. The first time the Badgers have been shut out in over half a century. The Nittany Lions won a total of 19 out of 20 bouts over the weekend. Iowa did some damage of their own, beating both Nebraska and Northwestern to continue their conference duel streak to 39 straight wins. Penn State's success was due in large part to this week's co-wrestler of the week, Ed Ruth at 174. Ruth remains unbeaten at 19-0 and recorded 2 tech falls, including one over number 9 Lee Munster. Buckeye freshman Logan Steebird shares the weekly honor after recording his team-high 10th pin of the year. It is the third weekly honor for the young buck, who ranks 4th at 133. A very familiar face to Big Ten wrestling, Jim Gibbons, our wrestling analyst, with us now on the phone. And Jim, saw some hefty competition over the weekend. What did you take overall? What was your impression of the weekend competition?
Well, I think you see some people, some teams rising to the top here. Minnesota's performance just really dominant this weekend with a shutout, and Penn State doing the same as well. And Iowa traveling over to Nebraska, which is a tough environment to wrestle in. There was 4,000 people there, nice crowd. And they just kind of took care of business and got a key upset at 165 pounds, and Mike Evans had a big win over the third-ranked wrestler in the country, and so you're starting to see these major, power teams kind of rise to the surface.
What's your impression of the Penn State team right now?
Well, Penn State just really seems to me like they're coming into competition form. We saw them earlier in November in the network, and they got beat by Minnesota, and that was a great meet. And of course, Minnesota's doing the same thing as well. But Penn State has that kind of murderer's row of David Taylor, Ed Ruth, Quentin Wright, and they've also got Frank Molinaro, who's also ranked number 1 at 149. But those 4 guys are leading the team. What should we keep our eye on for the weekend? Well, first of all, we got kind of a fun meet, I think, with Purdue and Wisconsin, 2 teams that are, Purdue only has 1 win in the conference season so far. Wisconsin's been struggling. Both teams at about 500. The big featured match, Kara, this weekend, of course, is Iowa at Penn State. And it's kind of a unique matchup because you see these teams are ranked so high, but there's not a lot of ranked opponents that are going up against each other. It's there's no 1 versus 2 type of matchup there. If you take a look at Iowa, they get started really well with their returning national champion Matt McDonough, and then Tony Ramos, who had the big upset, who was the Big Ten Wrestler of the Week when he beat Jordan Oliver, the national champion from Oklahoma State, and Montel Marion, the 2-time All-American, who's always ranked up there pretty high at 141. But then the favorites, then you go. Penn State's got the number 1 ranked guy, and then they've got, then I think 57 is going to be one of those toss-up matches. That'll be a great meet, but not in the form of number 1 versus 2 ranked matchups individually. More like who can kick the crap out of the other guys. There'll be a lot of bonus points in that meet with the way the matchups are looking. Well, that Sunday matchup is definitely something to look forward to this weekend in Big Ten wrestling. Jim Gibbons, thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you this weekend. All right, thank you, Kara. Weekend wrestling action starts on BTN Friday night with Purdue taking on Wisconsin at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Badgers are encouraging all youth and high school teams to come out for the event or holding an autograph session after the meet. And if you're going to do something worthwhile on Sunday, you should definitely tune in to BTN to see third-ranked Iowa travel to Happy Valley for perhaps what could be the Big Ten championship against top-ranked and defending NCAA champion Penn State. That will be a same-day tape delay at 9 p.m. Eastern. Iowa has their weekend slate full before they travel to Penn State. The Hawkeyes will have a tough bout on the road at Ohio State Friday night at 7 p.m. And the border battle takes center mat with Wisconsin wrestling in Minneapolis at 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. That's going to do it for this week in Big Ten Wrestling. Make sure to keep on clicking BTN.com for all of your highlights, news, and updates from around the conference.